financial troubles, new rules of eligibility. What is going on with the Miss Universe organization? I'm Dani, thanks for joining me today. Let's talk about some of these recent changes. I don't even really know where to start. So first, I guess let's talk about the financial issues that are going on right now. So JKN is the company that owns the Miss Universe organization. JKN is Anne's business. And there are, I'm sure, multiple businesses that JKN owns outside of Miss Universe. Now, in a recent statement, I'm gonna let you read the statement right here that was posted on Anne's Instagram. You can pause to read this part. This statement did not directly address exactly what's going on. So after a quick little online search, I found an article that essentially says that JKN is having trouble repaying their debts. So Anne is trying to reassure everybody that everything is going to be a-okay, which if you were in her position, wouldn't you do the same? Like, I feel like when businesses have tumultuous times, then it's important to get ahead of yourself and address it to the public, to any of your shareholders. If you're a publicly traded company, it's so important. So for me, this statement made a lot of sense, but I don't know what it really says about the state of JKN and what this really means for the Miss Universe organization. So very, very worst case scenario, and I don't feel like this is going to happen. I hope that JKN can find an agreement and figure out how to make payments to the people and the businesses that they owe money to. Worst case scenario, if they weren't able to do that and the company keeps losing money, yes, they could file for bankruptcy. Now, in that event, the Miss Universe organization would have to be sold again. Oh my goodness. I'm so tired of all of these changes. I'm so tired of it. I'm not thrilled about that. I don't think that that's what is going to happen, but it certainly isn't a great indicator for the direction of the organization in the upcoming years. Obviously, if you can't pay your debts, there is going to be a little bit of a struggle with how are we going to fund the pageant, essentially meet all of our agreements for title holders. So that is my concern there. This is something to pay attention to and to watch out for. Let's talk about the other wild thing that just happened. At New York Fashion Week, the Miss Universe organization announced that there are no more age limits. Not only can contestants be transgender, a mother, divorced, married, all of the above, but now you can be any age at Miss Universe. There are so many mixed opinions on this and so many mixed thoughts, and I've been going online and I've been reading some people's opinions. Personally, all of these changes in combination with the financial issues feels very Miss America 2.0 to me, and I don't love that for the organization. I do think it's important for pageants to kind of keep up with the times a little bit, but just considering the overall picture of the business right now, I don't love all of the changes all of a sudden. I don't love how everything is being announced and rolled out. That's just how I feel about it personally. But let's talk about some pros and cons, and I want to share from my personal experience as well some other perspectives. So some people think it's really great that there's no more age division, and people for a while have been calling for this change. And if you listen to Arbany's onstage answer last year, she talked about that she now became the oldest reigning Miss Universe, and that was historic, and she essentially called for upping that age limit for women. And I think that that actually is something that's quite relevant, because we've seen that the modern woman is different. She is getting married later, having children later, just doing things on a different time frame. I personally love that. I don't think that everybody's path in life has to be the same. Some people who don't like the idea of this are saying that this is kind of, the end of an era for the Miss Universe organization, and people are saying that older women should not be able to compete in the Miss Universe organization. There are a lot of things to be said about these changes. I think that there's pros and cons. And on the con side, I want to mention this. I have judged Ms. pageants in the past, and the divisions I've judged were essentially from 18 and up, and you could be married, single, divorced, have children. So you get a really broad age range. It was very difficult to judge that wide of an age range. I actually prefer having some sort of age limit and then creating a specific title for that. And that's exactly why in younger divisions for pageantry, we have a princess division, a preteen division, a teen division, etc., because it levels the playing field a little bit more. The reason I believe that having some sort of age division is important is because it's very difficult to compare and contrast an individual that's 18 versus maybe someone who is 55 years old. That is such a tough comparison. And that's what I struggled with when I was judging a Ms. division. We had contestants that were entering college, and then we had empty nesters. And even the level of communication and confidence was so far spread out. I do feel in a way that older contestants, when I was judging a Ms. pageant, had an advantage in terms of communication in the interview room. The tables turned as soon as the contestants were on stage, because some of the contestants that were older, maybe they started competing in pageants later, and they just did not have the stage experience, the practice that the younger contestants had. So as soon as the contestants got on stage, it added even more confusion to the judging panel, because there were certain contestants that myself and other judges really liked in the interview process. And then when they got on stage, I could not justify giving them a high on-stage score when the younger contestants were outperforming them for evening gown competitions, etc. And in this case, we're talking about a swimsuit competition. We're seeing more and more examples in society of women who are older, in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and I love it. And they're redefining success and they're redefining beauty, and I love that. But in terms of the Miss Universe pageant, I do feel like contestants are going to be able to compete at all ages, but once it gets down to those on-stage competitions, I do feel like the younger contestants will have an advantage in terms of stage performance, because the fact is that our bodies change. And if you notice, a lot of older women, they're not wearing heels that are as high. Just think about this. Think about shoe sponsors. When I competed at Miss USA, we had to wear these massive 6-inch heels that were platforms. And there are a lot of older women who opt in their age divisions to wear a lower heel because that is what is comfortable for their body. So things like that are going to be very interesting when it comes to sponsors and making sure that everything is quote unquote fair at the Miss Universe pageant. I am pretty excited though for the contestants that had aged out or chose to get married and they were right on that edge for the age division. I am super excited to see them come back. And what now is blowing my mind, because of the rules of eligibility, I actually, if I wanted to, could move to another country. I could compete for a different country's title and then go to Miss Universe. That is wild to me, that it's literally once again possible for me to compete at Miss Universe. That is wild. Financially, I'll be honest, that's not possible for me right now, but I do love the idea and I do think it's fun to dream. Now, on the positive side of all this, I just watched Miss Universe Puerto Rico, and they asked one of the contestants a question about redefining beauty and age. It was something about that. It's just kind of funny that they asked this question and then now this change has happened. And I just love the idea of not associating beauty with age. I have started following so many other creators online that are in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, and they're making me look forward to the future and to aging on my own terms. Ooh, makes me a little bit emotional because Women for so long have been told that our value decreases and that we're not like men. You know, men age like fine wine and women age like milk. And it was always disappointing because I've had men even say that to me, and they've said, well, I can wait till I'm 45 to get married and have kids, but you can't. Because you're a woman, because you're not going to be seen as attractive, as desirable. In that sense, I really love that we are not putting limitations on women in the Miss Universe organization when it comes to their age. I'm actually a huge fan of that. My apprehension to the new changes is that I just don't feel like it will be a level playing field. We may see older contestants, but will they actually be crowned? But the exciting thing is that when we do start seeing older contestants on the stage, I feel like this is going to be such an exciting step for women in how we define beauty and the idea of aging, and it will be more of an opportunity for us to celebrate women at all ages, at all stages in their life. And I do really love the idea of that. I think that that is so beautiful and encouraging. And like I said, I currently follow creators of all ages, and these women, even though we were born in different generations, continue to inspire me, and they continue to give me hope to dream for more for my life and not feel like, oh, I'm past my prime, and because I'm not 21, I can't pursue the things that I feel passionate about. That's what I think about these changes in general. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. If you have other ones that you would like to see on the channel, please leave your requests in the comments. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you very soon. Oh, and don't forget to check out my other recent episodes for Miss Universe 2023 coverage.